I've been pushing the same narrative, and I will continue to push the same narrative that the Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback. And if they are considering an outside quarterback, any one of them, their top option is Justin Fields. And maybe things just got a little bit more interesting when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a chance to get him. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/all Steelers talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have their offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith, and he says that there are things he needs to find in Kenny Pickett and that Kenny Pickett needs to find and trust in him, and so on and so forth. But the big question remains. The Steelers have their OC. They are reportedly bringing in a couple of guys for a passing game coordinator. They are comfortable with a lot of their coaches. They have the wide receivers. They have the tight ends. They have the running backs and most of the offensive line. What they're missing is the most important piece to the puzzle, the quarterback. And you have to start wondering, are they going to stick with Kenny Pickett, or are they going to look at the entire piece, the entire picture, and say, if we have a quarterback, the rest of this is in place? And Art Rooney said it himself, that the next step is quality quarterback play, and that the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to see what they have in a lot of these guys once Mason Rudolph took over and showed what capable quarterback play can bring out of your offense. And I don't know if Mason Rudolph is your guy, and if he is, and Art Rooney is correct that the Steelers have not seen his ceiling yet, cool. But if you're the Steelers and you're sitting around and there's any part of you who is saying we should shoot for the stars in this situation, that there is no holding back, this is not a, let's see what we have in these guys. If you are thinking Super Bowl, if you are thinking this team can be one of the best in the NFL and we are tired of first round exits in the playoffs, if you're shooting for the stars, if you're going big or going home, Justin Fields is your guy. He's got the most potential of almost any of these guys. I get it. Kirk Cousins is already handmade. He is already ready to go. He could lead your team to new heights. He could bring you where you want to be. I think Kirk Cousins can win a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh, and I don't think it's even a debate. I think Kirk Cousins is made for a good team to be a great quarterback. And I'm not saying he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but I'm saying that he is a winner in the NFL, and he is a great quarterback, and he gets you the quality play that you need and the leadership that you need. He knows how to run an offense, and he could do great things in the city of Pittsburgh. I truly believe that. But if you're not looking to spend a boatload of money this season, if you are looking for more of a long-term solution and saying, hey, we got to find our guy who is our guy next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that, Justin Fields is the answer. And he's the easy answer, and I'm going to continue to push for Justin Fields to be that guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But there are questions. Are you able to get Justin Fields? Is he even going to be available? Are the Chicago Bears going to take a quarterback with that first-round pick, or are they going to take a wide receiver, or are they going to move back, or what is going to happen? Well, things just got a little bit more interesting. With Cliff Kingsbury going to the Washington Commanders instead of the Las Vegas Raiders, which was a last-second change, immediately shifted everything in the NFL draft. You are now sitting there and going, that's very interesting, because the Chicago Bears sit there at number 1. The Washington Commanders, I believe, sit there at number 2. And Caleb Williams has already taken the time to congratulate his senior offensive analyst, Cliff Kingsbury, on a new OC job. There have been reports that Caleb Williams' team is not interested in going to the Chicago Bears, and that is not an organization that he is looking to play for. And that may have turned the Chicago Bears off. They may have said, who cares, whatever, we get to select you, you don't get to select us. But it may have turned them off to Caleb Williams, and you have to wonder, one, are you going to take a different quarterback with that first pick? Or are you going to take a shot and say, hey, Caleb's our guy, it doesn't matter what he says? Or are you going to look for a trade and say, well, Washington, if you want Caleb, if that's your guy, if you have his coach and you are ready to make him your franchise quarterback, what are you willing to offer? Because in my opinion, that leaves the Chicago Bears in a great situation. You get some, you move back 1 pick, you get to take Drake May, and you feel very confident in Drake May. Maybe you get a little bit more. You probably get a lot more. And if that's the case, the Steelers are in just as good of a situation, maybe a little bit of a better one than they were 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Because now the Chicago Bears don't have to worry about if Caleb Williams wants to come to them. They don't have to worry about that drama. They don't have the pressure of we're going to draft somebody who isn't it. You have the second pick in the draft, a guy who's an option, who's available in Drake May, who by all accounts is just as capable and looks just as good as Caleb Williams at some points and is considered just as high and just as valuable of a pick as Caleb Williams is at number 2, or as Caleb Williams is at number 1, as Drake May is at number 2. And if you're the Bears, you're saying, well, this is our guy. Let's see what else we can get. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I was asked this yesterday on 93.7 The Fan, and I laughed immediately, and I said, I'm so glad you asked this because I've been dying to answer this on other platforms. I'm going to get Justin Fields. I'm not even thinking about it. There are no questions to be asked. I'm going to get my quarterback. I get that you miss out on a first-round corner or a first-round offensive tackle, and maybe you miss out on a third-round pick, but I'm going to get Justin Fields. I'm giving up whatever they're asking for in a reasonable manner, but I expect Omar Khan to make all his trades in a reasonable manner. But I'm going to get Justin Fields for a first and a third, or a first and next year's second. That sounds great to me. Sounds good. I have a second-round pick this year. I have a third-round pick this year. I could go get an offensive lineman. I could go get another cornerback. You were going to use one of those top 3 picks on a quarterback anyways. Chances were, why not just go get your guy? And people say, oh, okay, well, does he have the upside? Does he have the potential? Yeah, he's got all that. Justin Fields has shown flashes that he is a superstar in the NFL, and there is a lot more meat on that bone. There is a lot more potential to be grabbed. I get it. And you have to develop this guy. But there are differences. Kenny Pickett looks like the game is moving too fast for him, and he needs it to slow down, but it has not slowed down just yet. Justin Fields looks like he's just trying to be a hero out there with nobody around him. Like, there are times where he has a bad offensive game plan. There have been times where he has 0 options, and you have to remember that up until this past season, I mean, he's working with Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool as his top wideouts. He comes to Pittsburgh, he's got Deontay Johnson and George Pickens with a pretty decent offensive line that I think you could add to this offseason. And if you trade your first-round pick and you are somebody who's sitting there going, well, what about Jackson Powers-Johnson? Go get Zach Frazier in the second round. Sounds good to me. You're not losing anything. I get it. Jackson Powers-Johnson's a stud. I think he's a star. I think he's got all the potential in the world. I think Zach Frazier is also very good. Justin Fields is a guy that comes to Pittsburgh and immediately has a running game, immediately has a defense, immediately has a head coach who could keep his head on his shoulders. He has a brand new offensive coordinator who has plenty of success in the NFL calling offensive plays. I just think that it's all there for him. I think that if you are Justin Fields, you are hoping to go somewhere else with plenty of potential and not a team like the New England Patriots that people have named or the Atlanta Falcons that people have named, but rather the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that is a team ready to win right now, and you are fighting for a contract. You are capable of winning. You have shown that. And man, dude, you have so much upside and so much excitement in your play. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not even hesitating. I'm hoping that the Washington Commanders call and say, hey, look, we'll take this very sticky situation and take it right off your hands. You don't want Caleb Williams because he doesn't want you. Sounds good. We'll take him. We'll go to number 2. You guys get Drake May and a little bit. We'll give you a second or maybe another first or whatever. Sounds good. You now have more options. Go get a second first-round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Get rid of Justin Fields. I've heard people say, oh, well, maybe they'll make him a wide receiver. They're not going to make him a wide receiver. They're going to get rid of him where he's going to force his way out before they make him a wide receiver. And I'm telling you right now, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm calling tomorrow, and I'm saying, look it. You already made your trade. You already have your quarterback. Sounds good. There's no more controversy, no more questions. We'll take the quarterback already on your roster, and we'll give you a first and a whatever. Sounds good to me. If the asking price really is a second and a third, which was reported earlier this season, even better. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressing. I'm not thinking it's a bad move. I'm thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers are ready to win right now. This team is built and has shown many times in the last year or two that it has enough talent to go out there and get the job done if it had a quarterback and an offensive coordinator. Well, now it's got an offensive coordinator. Go get a quarterback.